За бархатным пологом, где воздух густеет от тяжести золотой нити и несбывшихся надежд, бьется сердце золотой клетки. Не из железа ее прутья, а из тончайшего шелка, расшитого жемчугом. И каждый камень, что ловит здесь свет, хранит в себе нерассказанную историю. Историю о величии и о крови, что пролилась ради него. Вы думаете, роскошь – это комфорт? Глупцы. Здесь роскошь – лишь позолота на острых гранях невидимых клинков. Настоящая жизнь, подлинная смерть вершится в тишине. О, это тишина! Она страшнее любого крика, любого предсмертного хрипа. Она полнится шепотом, который никто не должен был слышать. Она звенит расчетом. Посмотрите, вон там. Не взгляд, а хищный прищур, полный безмолвного холодного расчета. Видите? Еще нет поступка, нет поднятой руки, нет капли яда, скользящей в чашу. Но предчувствие, оно уже здесь. Оно густо, как застоявшийся воздух гарема. Оно липнет к коже, оно заставляет сердце замирать. Чувствуете, как напряжение висит в каждом вздохе, в каждом блике света на этих проклятых прекрасных драгоценностях? Это цена. Кровавая цена династии, что построена на костях. Здесь, в тени, за каждой улыбкой скрывается кинжал, а за каждым нежным словом – обещание забвения. Кровная линия, что связывает их, может быть разорвана лишь предательством. А предательство, что ж, оно – дитя этой клетки, вскормленное молчанием и страхом. Наблюдайте. Это не театр. Это жизнь. И смерть. The air in these chambers, it is thick, not with perfume, though that hangs heavy on the silk curtains, but with something far older, far more potent. It is the scent of 1,000 whispered ambitions, of secrets buried beneath marble floors, of futures forged in fire and blood. You see them, do you not? These women, draped in brocade, their movements as fluid as the Nile. Their eyes, dark pools reflecting the flicker of 1,000 candles, hold histories that no scribe dares to pen. They are not merely wives, not simply mothers. They are the architects of a dynasty, the silent guardians of a bloodline that stretches back to conquerors and kings. To enter this world is to step into a labyrinth where every gilded corridor is a potential trap, every rustle of silk a whisper of betrayal. Each jewel on their brow a silent declaration of war. Their beauty, yes, it could eclipse the desert sun, could bring sultans to their knees. But here, within these walls, it was merely another instrument, a blade sheathed in velvet, ready to cut. They were not good, nor were they evil. They were survivors. Each breath a calculation, each smile a hidden poison. Observe the way a hand lingers on a pearl necklace, the slight tremor that betrays a mind working faster than a falcon's dive. A silent pact made across a dining table, a threat conveyed in the tilt of a chin. The grand feasts, the shimmering fabrics, the music that lulls the unwary, all but a stage for the true drama unfolding. A drama played out in the shadows, where a single flicker could spell a lifetime of power or an unmarked grave. Do you hear it? The silence that follows a sultan's decree. It is not emptiness, it is weighted with expectation, with fear, with the promise of unseen movements. For in this game, the loudest threats are often the least dangerous. It is the whisper, the unseen hand, the shadow that stretches across the gilded ceiling during a clandestine meeting that holds the true power. A shadow more dangerous than any blade. Their minds, sharper than any eunuch's dagger, they plotted. Not for love, not for affection, but for the dynasty, for the continuance of the bloodline. A son, a grandson, a living shield against the encroaching darkness of oblivion. Gold glinting on a cheekbone, a predatory intelligence burning in their depths. They would sacrifice all, even themselves, for the name, for the power that flowed, thin and deadly, through their veins. This is the truth of the golden cage. This is the game of queens, and it is played without mercy. The chamber breathes, or perhaps it holds its breath. A vast, silent expanse of silk and shadow, where the scent of jasmine fights a losing battle against the metallic tang of fear. Dust motes, like tiny condemned souls, dance in the sliver of sunlight that dares to pierce the heavy velvet drapes. From my vantage point, behind this carved column, I see it all. I always do. She sat, a queen in all but title, her posture a testament to generations of rigorous discipline. Yet, beneath the intricate embroidery of her gown, I sensed the tremor. A tremor born not of weakness, but of a tightly coiled spring ready to snap. Her gaze, usually an ocean of serene authority, was now a fractured mirror, reflecting unspoken questions and deadly suspicions. Before her, on a low mother-of-pearl table, lay a scroll. Not just a scroll, but a parchment that had once held secrets within its tightly bound embrace. Now, its seal was shattered. A crimson wax impression, once a symbol of inviolable trust, lay broken into jagged shards, like a heart ripped asunder. Do you see it? The raw, violent tear in the paper, far beyond mere carelessness. This was a violation, a declaration. Her eyes, dark as midnight on the Bosphorus, flickered from the broken seal to the silent figure opposite her. Another woman, equally adorned, equally poised, yet her own stillness was a different kind of weapon. A predator's stillness. There was no accusation in her gaze, no overt challenge, only an unnerving calm, a quiet understanding of the abyssal chasm that had just opened between them. Betrayal. The word hung in the air, a bell tolling without sound, echoing only in the hollow chambers of the soul. What did the parchment say? What truth, what lie, what conspiracy against the bloodline did it unveil? It mattered little now. The seal was broken, the trust forever fractured. Suspicion, once a whisper, had become a roaring tide. Then, the soft shuffle of silk on marble. A serving girl, young and seemingly innocuous, glided into the space. Her head bowed, eyes fixed on the floor, she carried a tray. Upon it, gleaming like a trapped jewel, sat a cup. Of finest crystal, intricately gilded, it held the vibrant, ruby-red liquid of a summer sherbet. Sweet, refreshing, cooling, and so dangerous. My eyes, honed by centuries of watching, narrowed. The serving girl's hand. As she reached to present the cup, I saw it, a faint, almost imperceptible tremor. A flicker of muscle beneath the pale skin, like a small bird struggling in a silken net. No one else could have seen it. Not the queen, whose focus was on the cup itself. Not the rival, whose gaze was fixed on the queen's reaction. But I did. And in that fleeting tremble, a silent verdict was delivered. The cup was extended. The air thickened, heavy with unspoken words. The clinking of the crystal against the tray seemed to reverberate like a death knell in the sudden, crushing silence. This was not a clash of steel, but a war of wills, a dance on the precipice. One hesitant breath, one false move, and the dynasty itself might falter. The queen's fingers, adorned with emeralds and rubies, hovered. To take the cup was to accept the challenge, to acknowledge the invisible threat. To refuse it, what then? To admit fear? To confirm suspicion? Her gaze, sharp and cold, pierced the surface of the sherbet, as if searching for a truth hidden within its sweet depths. Was it merely suspicion? Or was the poison already swirling, invisible, insidious? The rival across the table remained motionless, a sphinx carved of ice. Her lips, painted a delicate rose, held the ghost of a smile that spoke volumes without uttering a single syllable. Drink, my dear, or don't. Either way, the game is played, and the consequences inevitable. The silence stretched, a taut rope across an abyss, a heartbeat, a lifetime. The weight of generations, the sacred bloodline, the very future of the empire, compressed into this single, agonizing moment. The golden cage had never felt so suffocating, its bars forged of ambition and despair. And now the cup was offered. The seal was broken. And somewhere, in the deep recesses of this palace, a shadow waited, holding its breath, ready to claim its prize. The air, once thick with the desperate cries of betrayal and the clash of steel, now hung heavy with an almost unbearable stillness. A silence so profound it pressed against the very stone of the palace walls, seeping into the tapestries, chilling the blood. You feel it, don't you? This quiet is not peace. It is the echo of a storm that has passed, leaving only wreckage and a hollow victory in its wake. She moves through the chamber, a specter in her own triumph. The scent of jasmine, once a promise of paradise, now carries a faint, acrid undertone. Perhaps of fear. Perhaps of the subtle poison that had, only hours ago, sealed a rival's fate. Her eyes, once alight with ambition, are now shadowed by a weariness that no amount of victory could soothe. Look closely at her, standing there, beneath the gilded dome. Is this the face of a queen ascended, or a soul besieged? The throne is hers, yes, but at what cost? The golden cage, once a whispered threat, now looms larger, its bars merely stretched wider, more ornate, yet no less impenetrable. The shadows here are not cast by the setting sun, but by the weight of 1,000 secrets, 1,000 compromises. Every step she takes reverberates with the ghosts of those who fell, those whose bloodline ended abruptly so hers might endure. A flicker of movement by the mosaic floor. A length of silk, emerald green, lies discarded near a half-opened door. A queen's scarf, perhaps, hastily dropped in the frantic rush of her last moments? Or a deliberate defiance, tossed aside by the victor, a symbol of a former life shed, a final, cold challenge to the next pretender. The textile whispers of forgotten softness, now replaced by the unyielding grip of power. She pauses, her gaze falling upon it. There is no triumph in her eyes, only a bleak understanding. The silence tells her what the screams could not, that the game is never truly won. Each battle conquered merely earns the right to face another, greater one, within the same gilded confines. Her face, etched with a new, ruthless beauty, speaks of sacrifices made, of innocence irrevocably lost. This is the truth of the dynasty, isn't it? It devours its own, consuming children, lovers, friends, all to preserve the sacred, unbroken line of its bloodline. And the silence. Oh, the silence. It is not an end, but a prelude. Listen carefully. Can you not hear the whispers of the next betrayal already stirring in its depths? The grand tapestry of ambition, woven with threads of silk and shadows, now reveals its final, stark pattern. We have witnessed whispers bloom into defiance, alliances forged in gilded halls crumble to dust. Do you still believe in victors, my friends? In this golden cage, where every breath is a struggle, every dawn a challenge, there are no true conquerors. Only those who, for a fleeting season, postpone their own inevitable sentence. The price of the crown, you see, is not gold. It is blood. The blood of rivals, yes, spilled on cold stones of ambition. But more profoundly, it is their own blood, drawn by silent betrayals of the heart, by venom of isolation, by constant vigil against the encroaching shadow. A queen's triumph is often her deepest wound. We, the silent watchers, standing behind these ancient pillars, observed their relentless game. A game of queens, played with silk and poison, with a smile hiding daggers, a gaze promising oblivion. We understood then what they, perhaps, only learned too late. With every triumph, every enemy vanquished, a deeper solitude settled upon their souls. A ruthless resolve, born of necessity, became their sole companion. Their glory, a cold, lonely fire. For in this world of whispers and hidden knives, even the most magnificent of women were merely puppets. Their dance, grand and terrible, was orchestrated by an unseen hand. Fate, the ultimate sovereign, pulled their strings, guiding them across the precipice, forcing them to waltz on the very edge of the abyss. A dynasty, once a blessing, reveals its true face as a relentless curse. A burden passed from mother to daughter, echoing through the bloodline, generation after generation, demanding more blood. And so, we are left with this chilling, unsettling truth. Power is not liberation, but a deeper, more profound imprisonment. The gilded bars of the golden cage remain, silent, eternal, a sentence carried in the soul until the last breath.